There's no doubt about it, guys. Mob Psycho 100 was the most popular anime series from the summer 2016 lineup, as featured in my top 10 viewer choice video, but that really doesn't come as a surprise to me at all, considering that there was so much hype about this before it even aired, considering that it's from the creator of One Punch Man, and we all know how popular that show was. But how does this stack up against One Punch Man? I actually posted a poll on Twitter asking people, and it looks like slightly more people enjoy Mob Psycho 100 over One Punch Man, but neither of them are any comparison to an unsalted stick of butter. The story of Mob Psycho follows a young boy named Shigeo, or I guess you could call him Mob, who has immense psychic abilities, and he kind of feels like uncomfortable about him because he's so powerful and he's not really good at anything else, so he tries to not use them unless he absolutely has to, or maybe if he's like just stressed out to the max and can't control himself, which we do see from time to time, as he goes from 1% to 100%, and when he goes to 100%, Mob goes psycho and just demolishes everything in his path. If you like the crazy levels of destruction present in One Punch Man, you're going to find some of that here, but the show's mostly about the comedy, and even though I didn't really care so much for Shigeo as a protagonist, I enjoyed the show mostly for its side characters, such as Artaka, which is Shigeo's mentor and teacher. Basically, they go out and exorcise ghosts, and he's not really a psychic, though. He's a con man. He's a con artist who mastered the art of bullshit. I also enjoyed the character of Teruki, not only because he was a really funny guy, but because he actually developed. He was one of the few developing characters in the show, adding a little bit of complexity here, and he was someone that I enjoyed watching him because he started off as a bit of a bully. He had a complex about his abilities because he was really powerful, and that made him arrogant, but Mob put him in his place in a fight. This happens before the first half of the show, so I don't really consider that to be a spoiler, but there are a few other characters which actually develop here that I won't be mentioning due to the fact that there are spoilers, but I also enjoyed those guys as well. But as far as Teruki goes, I couldn't help but laugh at every time I saw this guy after his introduction, because Mob put him in his place. He kind of like shaved the top of his head in a fight, and because of his complex about, you know, the way he looks, he grew the top of his head back like 3 times taller than it was. It kind of reminded me of Marge Simpson, like who wore it better? Who wore that haircut better? He looked like a cactus, and even in the beginning of the show, with the opening, they kind of play on that and joke about his hair, about how it kind of looks like a cactus. Now, the thing about Mob Psycho and me is a bit complicated because I enjoyed it for its comedy. I also enjoyed it for its action as well whenever that was present, but I still came away with mixed feelings. The story itself is basically split into 2 halves. The first half is mostly focusing on the comedy, even though there are a few pretty fun fights that are just peppered in there in between, and the second half of the show gets a little bit more serious, and I wasn't really expecting it to basically turn on its head like that, but I enjoyed the fact that they managed to mix in a bit of comedy with that as well, so of course I enjoyed that. But the thing about the first half was that I didn't really find every episode to be funny, which it really isn't that big of a complaint because, you know, comedy is not going to work the same for everybody. Everybody's going to laugh at different things. But even though I didn't really laugh at a lot in the first half, I did appreciate the fact that they used a variety of jokes, which was something that I actually had an issue with in One Punch Man, where they had a set of jokes and they basically played the jokes throughout the entire series without a whole lot of variety going on there. So I appreciate the fact that Mob Psycho 100 has a variety of jokes, but just not all of them worked on me, and I guess I just have to take it for what it is. I didn't find some of it funny, but there were other episodes which I just couldn't stop laughing at, such as, I think it was episode 5, which was the fight between Shigeo and Teruki the Cactus Head. I'm just not a name guy. It's hard for me to remember names, especially when they're Japanese names, but I also really enjoyed episode 7, if I remember correctly, which was with Shigeo going into an art gallery and he accidentally cracks this vase due to the fact that there were con artists in there that were trying to get him out of money for ruining like priceless items, until Artaka comes in and he starts, you know, he's a con artist too, so he's trying to get the con artist in there to pay for his medical bills because they like grab him by the collar and everything. I thought that episode was really funny and laughed for basically the entire time, but you know, that's just the thing about having a variety of jokes. Some things work and some things don't. Now, as far as the ending goes, no spoilers by the way, I laughed my ass off at this last episode, and I can understand why some people may feel like it's a bit anticlimactic because, like I said, the second arc of the show is kind of like the battle arc. It's, you know, something's a little bit more serious and focuses a bit more on some of the fights, but it's to me, the show is a comedy first and has action just to complement the comedy that's there, and what happened in the final episode had something to do with my favorite character of the show anyway, so I thought it was a great ending to it, and I really appreciated that. But I guess your mileage may vary with it, but for the most part, I mostly hear compliments about it. Now, as far as the presentation is concerned, Mob Psycho 100 was animated by Studio Bones, which is not the studio which worked on One Punch Man. That was actually Madhouse, but still, Bones is another studio which makes beautiful work, and they did a great job here. And even though two different studios worked on this, you can definitely tell that the same base art style is there, considering that they are both from the same original creator there, so some of the characters are going to look a lot alike. And I also enjoyed whenever some of the characters would get like really angry, everything would change over to this like black and white sketch art style, and everything would just start exploding around them. And also we had the particles that everybody loved from One Punch Man, where everything was just getting obliterated around them. The music was also really enjoyable too, like the opening. I never skipped that opening once. It was really catchy, it stuck in my head, and I want to go watch it again. As far as the voice acting goes, there is no English dub for this as of right now, and I have no complaints about the Japanese audio. So overall, if you're looking for a comedy, I recommend watching Mob Psycho 100. Even if you're someone who did not like One Punch Man because the jokes got a little bit stale, then you should still check it out. But I would recommend going about 5 episodes into it and make up your mind then, because in the beginning, it does start off a little bit slow in my opinion. It took me a little bit to really warm up to this, but I do hear from a lot of people that didn't really like One Punch Man that they enjoyed Mob Psycho much more, and some even say that is one of their favorite animes, so that's that. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for next time when I review. It's either going to be Trigun or one of the other seasonal anime from this season. So I'll see you guys then.